Hi, good morning. I'm Evie Cohen. I am the VP of Life Sciences and Healthcare here at Appian, and I'm sitting here with Todd. Todd?
Hi, everybody. I'm Todd Marthaler. I'm the industry lead for contact center practice here at Appian.
Great. And we're going to chat a little bit about how contact center and how automation, digital transformation in life sciences can actually benefit from a platform approach similar to what Appian offers. I think part of the challenges that we see, digital continues to be a very, very tremendous growth area for life sciences. Life science companies include medical device companies, pharmaceutical companies, as well as biotech companies. And if we compare ourselves in the life science industry to other industries and where digital transformation has taken those industries, for example, tech companies or telecom, we've seen tremendous value created for consumers, for customers in those spaces. I think life sciences is lagging behind somewhat. We're actually some laggards or late adopters of technology, and we should be looking more acutely at what is offered in the space, what platforms can actually provide, what a platform approach can actually provide in the area. Part of the challenge, of course, is for us to become much more patient and consumer-centric. If it's in the prescription space or in the OTC, over-the-counter space, both could leverage a lot more interactions with patients, with providers, with organizations that support patients and providers, so hospitals, etc. And part of the challenge for us is that there's so much out there to deal with, so much being offered today in terms of new applications, new mobile applications. It becomes very challenging for an organization to actually identify what to focus on, what to actually deal with. I'd love to understand from you a little bit, what do you see happening across the board in other industries that Appian interacts with, et cetera? And then we'll jump back into life sciences and some of the areas that I think would benefit our users and folks listening to this to actually understand.
Yeah, I think what customers, patients, physicians, whoever that end consumer persona happens to be, they're looking for an end-to-end experience where the agent, the team member that's supporting them in whatever organization can provide closure and has knowledge of everything that they're doing all day, every day. Okay. So they can be helpful and personalize an experience.
Right. Part of the challenge, I think, in the area is to understand and separate the digital specifically from the multi-channel in general, right? So digital transformation and leveraging digital, in terms of, for example, webcast and video chatting between physicians and patients. That's one area. Those are some point solutions that exist there. But how do you actually look at it from a multi-channel perspective, and how do you actually bring all of that together for a large company that's trying to actually become more patient-centric?
Well, I think the way we deliver the intelligent contact center application today with Appian holds true for providing that omni-channel experience. It's not only providing our consumer one way all day, every day to communicate, but they can select how they want to communicate with us. And then we can leverage and pivot on all the information that's accessible to them based on pulling those various systems together to provide that to the agent. And that makes them smarter. It provides intelligence, and I think it makes us much more effective in providing that end consumer a great experience.
Excellent. What I see in the industry in general is there's a lot of experimentation going on. There's a lot of folks that are looking at a variety of multi-channel experiments, companies dabbling in different areas, dabbling in leveraging AI, leveraging robotic process automation in the space. But there's no way for them to currently understand how to bring that together. How do you deal with, technology for sake of technology is one thing, right? So trying to leverage, machine learning or AI and say, okay, fine, I'm going to apply it everywhere that I can. That's one approach. I think the way to really deal with it is to understand, how do you look at technology and look at the end in mind? What are you trying to get, and what technology is best for that end in mind? Talk a little bit about that.
I think you have to start with what the customer expectations happen to be.
Okay.
If we understand what their end game is, what they're trying to solve for, we have to map that customer journey. We have to understand From the point they start interacting or touching our website, communicating with our agents, to the point we resolve an issue, provide a challenge, provide information, whatever it is, we need to be able to map that experience.
Okay.
And to be able to say what makes sense. Artificial intelligence, intelligent automation makes sense where you have something to apply to a specific use case to drive a solution. And then you build upon that.
Okay. I believe that the pharmaceutical industry is basically it should be looking at more flexible, agile ways to handle things, right? So today there's a lot of different solutions out there, like I mentioned, and the IT department, even businesses, are actually approaching and buying various different tools, capabilities. There's so many different mobile apps available for related to diabetes, related to treatment of in oncology and other areas, but there is no real platform approach to all of that together. I mean, there's so many providers out there, so many people talking about the various different capabilities, but it felt very siloed. It felt very, piecemeal. Nobody can really offer this roadmap and the whole journey for a patient, for a company servicing a patient and dealing with a patient, or the provider that engages with the patient. What is unique, about the contact center, the offering that Appian actually has as a platform that helps maybe to smooth that, to accelerate the way that we need to engage?
I think Appian is the model for delivering a customer ecosystem that really helps you understand end to end. So taking the powerful case management that we have, to be able to simulate and drive a record of information that tells you all about that patient, that physician, that clinician, who your end persona happens to be, into a single pane of glass, to be able to then take action and resolve an issue, and pair that with the now. And the now is the intelligent contact center, front-end omni-channel capability.
Okay.
That makes us very powerful because we can take in all types of interaction, whatever channel the consumer, the patient, the clinician, whoever it happens to be, wants to use, meet the need and their expectation of how they want to communicate, and then provide resolution. Plus, we provide the agent the ability to see everything end to end.
Excellent, right? So you give that end-to-end capability. That's really, really important. What about speed? Because from my perspective, we don't really have time to waste. I mean, the innovation in the space needs to be accelerated. We can't just do piecemeal work. We can't just look at it, point by point. How do you work to critically increase that clock speed for organizations? Is there something unique about the Appian platform that actually gives you the ability to work faster than you would with any other tool or any other technologies that exist out there?
Well, I think it's a combination of two things.
Okay.
I think it's one, the idea of being able to map a better experience. So it's sitting down with a customer or a prospect and understanding what they want to accomplish to see if certain parts of processes could be removed or improved with technology. And then it's taking the idea of leveraging our low-code platform with Appian against the intelligent contact center, omni-channel case record management capabilities, and bringing that all together to provide that solution. So it's two parts.
So low-code seems to be simplistic. I mean, are we talking about low-code at an enterprise level or low-code, right? I've seen, there's been solutions in the space, for, leveraging low-code capabilities that allow you to actually build some solutions on your own, so the citizen developer, etc. Are we talking about that type of capability, or is this really more across the board, leveraging and allowing the company to actually accelerate how they work, but yet still build robust solutions?
It's really the latter.
Okay.
It's the enterprise approach. It's enabling and allowing our end users to consume and to build independently.
One of the challenges that we see in the space is compliance. Many folks are saying, well, yeah, it's difficult to actually work in this space with still being compliant, right? There's been a lot of backlash on pharma companies and life science companies on, conflict of interest, when they engage patients, physicians, etc. How do you know that that's not actually done with the, potential conflict of interest? And what I would suggest to any company looking at this is that the regulators, FDA, is actually very willing and open to discuss. There's the FDA digital health approach. They're looking to actually engage life sciences and companies in advancing this. FDA is actually moving into the cloud themselves. So it's really, really important, I think, to look at that from a perspective of the compliance is not it's not the biggest challenge. Let's not regulate ourselves as an industry. Let's actually look at that. I think with that, I think it's about time for us to actually look at some questions and answers. And I'm going to pull the app real quick and actually see if we had anything coming in from. And yes, we have. So we have a couple of questions. Question number one. There's a lot of talk around the use of AI in contact centers, but where do we start? I'll maybe let you take that, as the expert in the space. Do you need me to repeat the question, or was it clear?
No, I think AI in the contact center has a place of understanding, first of all, what the customer expectations and needs are. One of the things that I've seen work very effectively for customers and using intelligent automation is to not only discern what a customer says, but what they're asking for.
Okay.
To pull knowledge management tools to the desktop so an agent can help them more fluidly and effectively.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. A patient may feel or see that, they have some dry skin. And the first thing that somebody would do is actually go and Google, right? And then suddenly you get all of this wonderful information that's out there about psoriasis. And you immediately think, oh, okay, well, that dry skin, I have psoriasis. And you go to your doctor, and the doctor prescribes a little bit of an eczema cream. At the same time, the patient is saying, no, I actually need this biologic injection because I have psoriasis. So the challenge is, how do you deal with that information? And of course, in the context of what we're talking about here, the patient may actually get the biologic prescribed and get the injection and ends up having some adverse events and calls a call center. The ability to actually trace all of that interaction and how the patient actually engages. The patient may actually have gone onto some sort of a group chat or on Facebook. Being able to pull that information into a cohesive understanding of what the patient is looking at this moment is actually very, very important for a life science company. And to be able to actually connect with the physician who may have prescribed a certain drug from your company and pull all of those pieces together. This is where I think artificial intelligence come together, because there's no way that an agent responding to a call or a complaint would be able to actually quickly pull all of the information, together without the aid of some artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I have another question here that came in. With compliance being such a large factor in life sciences, how can we ensure data compliance in our contact centers? I think that's part of what I mentioned a minute ago. First of all, compliance, shouldn't be the hammer we knock this down with. The agencies are looking to actually work with us on developing and evolving compliance to meet the needs of how we work in a more advanced, technological age. I think the key here is to make sure you pick a platform that has high level of security, that attends to to appropriate encryption of the data. Do you have anything to add from your perspective as far as how do we ensure indeed that there's appropriate compliance in the contact center from a perspective of the platform that I picked?
I think the other part you didn't mention, but is probably also something you mentioned, is the whole idea of confidentiality. Are we understanding and delivering
privacy,
that
of course,
information
right?
to privacy? Yes. And be able to validate who that consumer is, who that patient is, who that clinician happens to be, each and every interaction. Because if we do that, then we're more effective at providing a more personalized experience.
Right, and maintaining, adherence to HIPAA laws, et cetera. So
yes, and you can deliver that within the Intelligent Contact Center by leveraging some of those quality scripting tools that are available.
Let me see. Do we have another time for another question? Okay. I've gotten the signal. We have time for one more question. Let me look at the last here. With a more patient-centric outlook in industry, how do we tailor our customer service to provide a more personalized experience for our customers? Why don't you take a stab at it first, and I'll also chime in.
I think we need to, first of all, understand all of what makes that customer tick, all the information around their patient experience, who they've seen, what they've had, any challenges they've had in lifetime, because we need to be able to provide a personalized service that is also understanding of the challenges they might have in front of them. I think that's really important. because the health of an individual, of a patient, is very critical,
Yep.
and they want to understand where they are in that journey and do whatever they can to do to help them.
Yeah, I think, the patient from one perspective, and they are living in a Amazon world, right? Everything can be bought at a click of a button. Uber, you can invite an Uber to anywhere you are and get dropped off wherever you wish. So it's a smoother world, leveraging technology, leveraging mobile, for example. We need to think about the providers as well, right? So the physicians, the people that actually, the caregivers, folks that are treating, and how do we leverage and give them the ability to actually manage disease better? My daughter has type 1 diabetes. She recently changed to a new pump that actually connects with her iPhone and has a continuous glucose monitor. So the ability to leverage technology, and she's already saying that by leveraging the app, not the actual pump itself, she's able to actually manage her highs and lows of blood glucose much better. That's the way that you interact with patients, and she's able to then also feed back to the pump company information about how she's interacting with the software, and they can continuously improve that. Again, one channel. There's other channels. If in the event that she has a challenge or problem, there's a 1-800 number that you can actually call and either register a complaint. And she, her experience has been so far that when she calls to Indeed Deal, they know her. Out of the hundreds of thousands of patients, they know her by name and they know who she is. And the question is, how do they accomplish that? And they accomplish it leveraging technology, leveraging some machine learning, the ability to actually bring information on this patient when the patient calls and deal with it. Good. We'll wrap up at this point. Thank you very, very much. I think this was a great chat. Anything else you want to close in with?
No, Evie, I think this is hopefully very helpful to our audience, and hope to do this again soon.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.